Yes, I am pretty pissed off right now, and I honestly think I have a good reason to be. I mean, come on, we live in America, land of the free, but apparently it's land of the free from health insurance. It's absolutely outrageous to me that some rich dummy got killed and everybody suddenly cares, but how many Americans die every year from lack of health insurance and nobody bats an eye? Now, don't get me wrong, I am not condoning murder. Obviously, murder is bad, kids, okay? Don't do that. No, his actions are bad. I am not interested in justifying his actions. However, I am interested in justifying some of the rage behind his actions and the millions of Americans sympathizing with that guy right now. Here's a fun fact for you. A quarter of Americans throw away prescriptions because they can't afford to fill them. Healthcare spending dwarfs the combined profits of every corporation in America. Those are just two quick facts demonstrating how monumentally the American healthcare system really is. We're supposed to be the best country on earth, #1. Yet how come America is one of the few developed countries that doesn't provide healthcare for all of their citizens, regardless of income? Even worse, despite this tragic shooting taking place, the United Health Group CEO, yeah, this guy, this bald little face weasel, he had the nerve to double down on the policy.
And we guard against the pressures that exist for unsafe care or for unnecessary care to be delivered in a way which makes the whole system too complex and ultimately unsustainable.
Oh, we don't want to provide unnecessary care. Shut the up, you British twat. What the does unnecessary care even mean anyway? Oh, that's right. It just means anything that the insurance company doesn't want to pay for. Mind you, if this swarmy little wanted hair transplants, odds are United Healthcare would deem that a very necessary care. But if you say are dying from liver cancer, well, you know, maybe flip a coin for it. As all of this is going down, some articles have been released demonstrating the despicable times that people had their health insurance claims outright denied. One person wrote, "My partner of 34 years had liver cancer. After we found out that the latest round of chemotherapy wasn't working, he was referred to a clinical trial. He went for the initial appointment and found out he was a good candidate. They'd had success in treating this type of cancer. He qualified for the program, and all they had to do was get insurance approval. Insurance started dragging their feet, asking impossible questions during the approval wait, which began to get lengthy, and he only got sicker." So here we have an individual who literally qualifies for a clinical trial that could treat their cancer, and the insurance company, well, they're not so sure that's necessary care. Fuck you. Another person writes, "I'm diabetic, and at the height of COVID, my doctor said we had no other options. I needed to start insulin. It made a massive difference in my health and life. Fast forward a year later, I tried to pick up my prescription from the pharmacy, and they said my insurance had denied it. When I called to find out what was wrong, they told me it was not medically necessary." Oh my God. Okay. Yeah. I really, you know what? I really love that, like, the gods of life up in the healthcare departments just have the magic ability to determine whether or not something is medically necessary, you know? It's crazy. It's like, hey, here's a fucking doctor with qualifications saying this is necessary. But the insurance company, the all-knowing, holy, mighty insurance company who can decide if you live or die, well, they're not so sure, you know? They're not so sure they really want to pay for that, even though people pay the insurance to do that exact fucking thing. Of course, these are just American insurance companies across the board. They're pretty much all fucked up and filled with pathetic scum. But sure enough, new data does in fact demonstrate that United Healthcare denies the most claims of any major health insurer. Again, I am not defending the shooter's actions, but I am absolutely defending the shooter's rage and the rage of millions of Americans. I'm not alone here. Even Ben Shapiro's own fucking audience has turned on him, as they too have exclaimed how important it is that they get health insurance and how broken the American system is. And that's because at the end of the day, this really is not a left versus right issue. It ultimately does come down to rich versus poor. It is disgusting and fucked up that we live in a society where right now, poor people can die just because they can't afford to go to the doctor, and rich people can afford to live until they're 467. As much as I do not condone violence, I am happy to see that this tragedy is waking more and more people up to the gruesome and obvious fact that American healthcare is just fucking trash. A 41-year-old mother explains her abysmal experience with United Healthcare. This woman worked for years with her doctor to find the right medications to deal with her multiple chronic illnesses, which included epilepsy. Her doctor finally found some medications that could reduce her pain, but the woman says her United Healthcare Medicaid plan refused to cover the drugs. And because of her pain, it has been hard for the woman to even find work. Again, when poor people are denied the right to healthcare, they only get poorer, and it only adds to the already divided wealth gap. Recent data show that patients are now even more likely to have their claims denied, pay more for premiums and medical visits, and face unexpected costs for care they thought was covered by their health plan. Rising costs are attributed in part to consolidation of doctors' practices, hospitals, and insurers. After the shooting took place, United Healthcare shares fell by more than 10%. First of all, good, because United Healthcare, fuck you. Second of all, how disgusting is this? There are shares and stocks and investors involved with healthcare? Does anybody else realize what a conflict of interest that could be? It's a known fact that large corporations with investors will prioritize their investors. So if the investors, for whatever reason, feel that, I don't know, Grandpa Joe doesn't really need his cancer treatment, that could be all it takes for them to deny another sick poor person their health insurance. Another massive piece of shit who owns 2.6% of United Healthcare shares, he says, quote, "Unfortunately, when you're dealing with people's lives, there's a reality that there will be hiccups along the way." Yeah, I'm sorry, but thousands of people dying per year due to lack of healthcare, I would call that a little bit more than just a hiccup. Unless, of course, you mean it as in hiccup. I'd also be willing to put money down that if this chucklefuck so much as even had the hiccups, United Healthcare would probably deem that necessary care. And even as the claims denials are rising, only about 10% of patients even appeal these denials. And even more damning, in an American Medical Association 2023 survey, 94% of physicians said prior authorization delayed care, and 95% reported it raised physician burnout. So not only are health insurance companies disgusting corporations profiting off of sick people, they are actually arguably working against the doctor's ability to adequately give care. What the shooter did, that is not okay. However, people are fucking furious, and for very, very good reason.